You guys ever hear about the Silent Hill circumcision theory?
Possible foreskin symbolism. That is a big-ass foreskin.
It's a pretty wild video, you should check it out, Silent Hill Circumcision Meltdown. And welcome back to Let's Play Silent Hill 4, The Room. Last time, we made our way into Forest World after pinning the ghostly Cynthia and making our way through Subway World. Are we going to potentially run into the ghost of another victim of the 11121 man? Well, we'll see, we'll see. With that said, we've got a red piece of diary here to check out, so let's just pick it up and see what it says. My theory is that Walter never died at the prison. It may have been someone else who committed suicide. Either that, or the person that the police arrested was not the real Walter Sullivan. I'm in no position to investigate what really happened at the prison, but in any case, Walter didn't die at the prison. The man with the coat that showed up here was the real Walter. 7 years ago, he did something in that apartment. I'm certain there's a link between that and the bizarre things that have been happening here. Just a little bit more and I'll have this whole thing figured out. I may even find that the real Walter is somewhere nearby. July 18th. You guys don't think that man with the coat who's been stalking us this whole time, could it be he's Walter Sullivan? I feel like he'd look a bit older than that man in the coat, though. And certainly that man's disheveled, but Walter's gotta be at least pushing 40 at this point. That guy still seems to be in his 20s or so. The mystery just deepens. Before we head back into Forest World, you may remember way back at the start of the game, I pointed out that there is an oil tank in Henry's utility room. Again, I have no idea why he would have this. He doesn't seem to have a lantern in here anywhere. But we can soak our torch in the oil. And if you light the torch now, it should burn for a long time. This extends the burn time of the torch from like 25 seconds to at least a couple minutes, so it allows you to navigate areas and not worry about the torch burning out really quickly. This isn't strictly necessary to do. There are actually plenty of holy candles that you can not holy candles, holy flames that you can light your torch at, and there's always one at least within a screen of one of the wells you need to check, but this just allows you to make sure if you get hassled by something and you have to whack it with the torch to get it to go away or impede it for a little bit, that this is an option that you have to keep the flame going while you do that. Returning here and with Eileen, I did pick the revolver out of my chest for an opportunity to use it, because we will be coming across a couple things that I could probably whack with it. Also, I want to draw attention to these texts over here. Let's just walk up to this one, and of course, if you have Henry try to read it, he can't figure it out, but Eileen...
Here goes. October 18th. I have to stay in the round cell even if I read well tomorrow. If I do it, God will be happy, so I will do it. He comes into the round cell a lot to visit, but it's okay, I guess.
Now, if you weren't able to pick up on this, these are actually diary entries from the young Walter Sullivan when he was an orphan in the Wish House orphanage, and these are scattered all around the Forest World, and for whatever reason, Eileen is capable of reading them. Even more strange than that, if she is heavily damaged and heavily influenced by the supernatural nature of this world, she can read them even more accurately to what they actually say, including reading the parts that are otherwise illegible to her. Though obviously, if she's in that bad condition, it's probably going to bode poorly for the final boss fight when you need her in good condition. Now, it is pretty tedious to collect all of these diary entries and get them, especially if you want to hear the full readings where Eileen is fully damaged. But thankfully, videos exist for these on YouTube, and I want to give a big shout out to YouTuber RuminInLove, who has a compilation of all of Eileen's quotes, plus the diary readings, both versions, and he's given me permission to include the video in the playlist for this Let's Play, and I'll also link it in the description in case you want to watch it right away after this video is over. It does have some spoilers for later in the game, namely just Eileen's comments on future areas we've yet to see, so if you want to save that for later, then I'd recommend just watching it at the end of the playlist. But again, shoutouts to RuminInLove. Highly recommend checking out his Silent Hill videos. He's done some really impressive challenge runs for the first two games, completing Silent Hill 1 and 2 without bullet adjust, and in Silent Hill 1 he managed to do that while collecting every single item, which is a pretty tight time limit to beat with very limited supplies. With with all that said and done, I'm just getting my bearings of the areas again. Let me see. We want to go this way. We're going to take the longest path that we have to take, since this will also take us to the mini-boss ghost that we can fight for this area, and that'll allow me to get the Sword of Obedience out of my inventory, so that I have space for stuff later. Heading this way, I believe there's a twin victim on this area, or perhaps just Hummers. If there's Hummers, then I know there's no items for me to grab. Let's see here. Actually, it just doesn't seem like there's anything on this screen. Alright, good stuff, good stuff. We, of course, wait for Eileen to catch up. Now, in Forest World, you're faced with a bit of a dilemma. You don't need to leave Eileen behind for anything in this area, but it may be tempting to do so, so you don't have to worry about protecting her. Also, holy candle right here. It may be tempting to do so, just so you don't have to worry about protecting her anywhere along the way. However, remember, any area that Eileen is left in, even if it doesn't have enemies, she will passively take damage as you pass through screens. So you have to be mindful of that in this area, because you are going to be traveling quite a bit. And if Eileen's just hanging out at the orphanage, she'll gradually take a lot of damage as you are addressing your business. More than that, though, it also makes her more vulnerable to damage. The number of screens you leave Eileen alone penalizes her resistance to damage, meaning that she'll be more likely to take severe damage if she does get attacked by enemies, and she won't gradually be healing as you pass through doors, because there is a mechanic where Eileen heals a slight amount of her damage off if she passes through a door with Henry and didn't take any damage in the previous room, so something to be mindful of. It'll also make the sections where you have to abandon her potentially more damaging to her. Just getting this pre-roll out of the way, because as soon as we enter this area, hey, it's Jasper, and yes, he is our ghost victim boss for the area, and I'm actually going to, that was me getting careless. Let me give him a quick whack. I'm actually going to have Eileen help us out here by equipping her chain, and we're just going to have Henry and Eileen just absolutely stomp this poor guy, beating the crap out of him with the axe and the chain in tandem. One thing to note, and Rumin has been watching these videos and left a very helpful comment on the previous video. In the previous video, I used the Saints Medallion and Holy Candle in tandem to quickly kill Cynthia. Rumin has informed me that the damage from the Saints Medallion and the damage from the Holy Candle do not stack. The damage from these two do not stack. If the Saint Medallion is blocking the damage from Jasper, the Holy Candle will not be doing anything to him. The Saint's Medallion will be what will be damaging him. However, if you were to knock him down, now my Saint's Medallion broke, but that is no problem because there's another one right here. So a little bit of inventory economy there. But you really want to make sure that you have access to the Saint's Medallion here. Also, don't worry about Eileen's supposed condition there. She's fine. Okay, let's just keep beating on this guy. There we go. Is that... Yeah, he should be down, and just pin him. But yes, the damage from the Saints Medallion and the Holy Candle do not stack. The reason that I thought that is because the first few playthroughs where I fought Cynthia, I'd always rely on charge attacks, and Cynthia's hitbox is really, really wonky, and charged attacks from the axe have a tendency to just fly right through her, so that was extending the amount of time the fight was going on. Plus, when enemies are knocked down, for whatever reason, they have immunity to the Saints Medallion, so that was also slowing down the progression of the fight when I was connecting with the charge attacks from the axes. The Holy Candle does actually continue to deal damage to downed enemies. Now that Jasper is taken care of, I would just like to point out that he actually is not that big of a threat if you decide not to pin him. He only really appears in the forest world, and otherwise just only hassles you in one major area of the game, so you can take him out here and it won't be a big deal. Absolutely have a Saints Medallion when you engage him, though, because he has a very damaging AoE attack that he can use. Now that that's taken care of, there's a Holy Flame in this area, and we're going to pull out the torch and light it here. Don't worry about Eileen's condition. It should correct itself. I'm guessing there's a light AoE damage effect coming from Jasper, but it should correct itself after a little bit. I don't think that'll be permanent damage. If it is, this playthrough is about to get a lot more interesting, and I just learned something that I didn't know before, because that's definitely not something that I saw the last time I played this game. Here we got Hummers. We just want to quickly make our way through this area and hopefully not get nipped on. There we go. There'll be a handful of nutrition drinks along the way, so we'll have opportunities to heal ourselves up. Plus, we'll have the Saints Medallions to protect us against, or the fresh Saints Medallion to protect us against the victim ghosts that harass us along the way. Now, this area that we're going is probably one of the more dangerous areas to take Eileen. Not on the trip through, but on the way back, it will get a little tricky. But don't worry too much about it. So one nice thing about lighting or soaking the torch in oil is now that we're pulling it along here, if we hadn't soaked it in oil, it'd have already burned out, and we'd have to hit up another Holy Flame, which, thankfully, there's always a Holy Flame within a screen of the wells you need to search. So, again, it's just kind of like a nice convenience. Limits the amount of times you have to head back and actually relight the stupid thing. Alright, heading into this next area. And yeah, Eileen's condition is starting to correct itself, so I think that was just fake damage that she took from standing by Jasper. Alright, so I'm going to take this doll's right arm. I'm actually going to whip out the revolver, and we're just going to blast this guy down real quick. And hopefully I can stomp him. Come on, get down. Yes, there we go. And let me see, there is a holy candle over here we can grab, and there should be another nutrition drink I can grab to quickly top my health off a little bit. I was kind of hoping I could take that guy down in 3 revolver shots, but it's not a huge deal. There is a revolver reload in this world, so I'll be able to refill the revolver after a certain point. Let's grab this nutrition drink here. Nutrition drinks are very, very disposable. You just pick them up, use them immediately, and you're back in good condition, so pretty helpful like that. We're going to take the torch back out. Now, heading back through this door, this is where things can get a little scary, because once you've grabbed the doll piece, suddenly, this area is going to be crawling with gum heads, but as long as you rush the door, just don't give them a chance to aggro on you. You should be able to get in, and yeah, they didn't focus on Eileen at all. Now we've got just the victim ghosts to get past, and they are of no threat to Eileen. They just completely ignore her. As long as you got the Saints Medallion equipped, they don't do any real damage to her. And yeah, you probably noticed Eileen's condition is reverting back to normal, so it looks like there's just a passive fake damage effect being caused by being near Jasper, which, you know, probably understandable given that he's completely immolated. This is the longest trip, and if you don't take Eileen along, this is easily the most damaging to her, because what, it's like 12 screens altogether that you have to travel. Lots of damage that she takes from that. Like, at the minimum, she's at least, like, taking what, probably around, see, like 50 damage, so about as much as room transition as banning her alone. She got hit by a couple Hummers there, but don't worry about that. That damage that was dealt will be healed off by the time we get back to the central area. Here we've got another Holy Flame, so we can light our torch, and this time we can grab the doll piece from the well that we passed on the way here. So, yeah, just a nice, efficient way to deal with it. Here we go. Grab this. And always be sure to drop off the doll pieces back at the doll when you pass by it. It's just the most efficient way to deal with that. Don't clutter up your inventory needlessly. There, Eileen, you're looking about as good as you can, considering your current medical situation. Poor girl, poor girl. Alright, let's go drop off our doll pieces. So that's the most potentially damaging area for Eileen. Now, if you're playing on normal or easy mode, I actually honestly would just recommend leaving Eileen here, because she slows you down a lot, and the final boss fight is really fast on normal and easy mode, so no matter what damage that Eileen has suffered up to that point in the game, I think you can pretty safely beat it without her buying the farm on you, so it's not anything I think you should be overly concerned about. Alright, just thinking about which way I want to go, and we're going to go this way next. It's actually a very important item along the way here, and also not too many enemies that are of any concern to Eileen. There is actually... Oh, did she get stuck? Yeah, sometimes Eileen's pathing... Yeah, there she is. Sometimes Eileen's pathing gets a little screwed up in this area, and she gets stuck on the orphanage, which makes it easier to abandon her, I guess, if you're going that strategy. But on hard mode, I'd highly recommend bringing her along with you, because the damage penalty she can take from being abandoned here really, really can make it difficult to actually complete the final boss before the timer that relates to Eileen expires. And you end up getting a sad ending. We'll just use that nutrition drink there. There's a couple nutrition drinks to grab on the way to the next well, so we'll be able to keep ourselves in fighting condition pretty well. There is... who is presumably Walter. He's got a chainsaw. Do not bother ever fighting him. He is much like a ghost victim. You can incapacitate him for a period of time, but he'll pretty quickly get back up. And in fact, I believe if you just leave the room right away, he just is ready to harass you when you return. Here, we've got silver bullets. This is a silver bullet pack that is much more on the way. You're much more likely to see it, so this is one that you're unlikely to miss, and it's good, because there is going to come a point where we do want to use the silver bullets in the next world. Oh, hey!
October 14th. I did a good job reading today. I was so happy. But the 21 sacraments for the descent of the Holy Mother was hard. I'm pretty sure that somewhere in these woods is an orphanage called Wish House.
Eileen, why do you know that? But Eileen was being a little proactive with her reading there. Here's another nutrition drink, and now we are fully healed. I actually, before starting this video, I considered using some of the nutrition drinks that I had stored at the apartment, but since there's so many in the forest world, I ultimately decided I could probably make it through without having to use them up, so I've got them saved for later. Alright, so inventory is getting pretty tight at this point. I want to finish this, well actually... If I were doing a 10-star run, I'd actually want to finish this with some open inventory slots. Like Subway World, I'd probably want to finish with 2, but now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, this is just a recorded Let's Play, and I'm trying to be thorough, so you know what, I'm not going to concern myself with my inventory. We do need 2 open spots for when we go to the next area where we go to pick up a doll piece, and also, yeah. Hummers are super, super annoying, but they're not worth bringing bug spray for. Alright, let's head this way. Now, the next path we're going to take, of course, the final path is the one that takes us to that shore area, or rather that overlook area, that had the portable medical kit when we first came here. We're going to just stow the torch, because I'm going to need the axe for a little bit. Let's equip this, throw that on here. And the next area is has a little bit of potential danger to Eileen, because we're going to have some twin victims along the way, and twin victims, as I've mentioned previously, are a type of enemy that will focus Eileen if they have a direct path to her. Actually, we've got 2 revolver shots left, so I'm actually going to whip that out, and I'm going to have Eileen take the chain out as well and work in tandem with me to deal with the twin victims we're going to deal with on this next screen. But also what I was saying is we need at least 2 open inventory slots, so make sure you have that. Alright, heading in here. One thing to note is that the chain actually makes Eileen a lot more... Oh, there's the E-Honda headbutt. Okay, so there's Eileen? Yes, there we go. So let's just do quick whacks to bring this guy down. And yeah, there we go. Stomp him. If I had done that a little bit better, I could have stomped him off the first revolver shot, but he hit me with the E-Honda headbutt, so I just ended up eating some crap there. Alright. Let's hit this guy. What the heck? That was weird. Also, okay, that can deal damage. When he just ran past her, that didn't deal damage. Getting bumped doesn't hurt Eileen. So, since I absolutely whiffed the charge strike, we're just going to bully this guy. Hey, ow. One thing to note about the chain is that Eileen can actually strike downed enemies with it, so that's a nice little bit of tech that it has there. And you know what? I'm not sure if I'm actually going to have the item spaces for the stuff that I want to grab. You know what? I'm just going to take a quick trip back to the apartment. If there's a haunting in there, I'll show it off, but I do need to actually clear some inventory space. These holy candles are...
Henry, you're going too fast.
I'm sorry, Eileen. But I'm just going to go drop some stuff off in the apartment. If there's a haunting, I'll show it off. Hey, no haunting. Lucky me. Although honestly, for the sake of, like, intrigue within the Let's Play, I think it's pretty unfortunate that I didn't get one. There are some really cool hauntings, actually, and I hope we get at least one of the more interesting ones, if you haven't watched the videos that I linked that showed them all off. Heading in this way, the reason I cleared out all those holy candles, the silver bullets, all the stuff like that, is that there's actually a couple of items here that I'd really like to grab. First order of business. Every time I look at it, it creeps me out more. Take the pickaxe? Sure. Pickaxe of Despair. Ordinary pickaxe from a construction site. Despair is written on the handle. Very powerful. Apparently the fact that this ordinary pickaxe has Despair written on it really, really agitates Henry. But this pickaxe of Despair is in fact the strongest weapon in the game. It is also ridiculously slow, having the slowest charge time in the game and extremely slow swings. However, if you can get these to connect, it deals bonkers damage, and it is actually involved in a really, really effective strategy against the final boss that I'm hoping to show off, so let's see if I can actually make that happen. It's a little tricky to do, but there is a relatively consistent setup for it if I can manage it. Let's head out this way. Heading over here, I feel like... You guys feel like... Hey, is there someone behind that pedestal?
Are you Walter Sullivan?
That's what everybody calls me, but I don't really have a name or a home either.
Well, what about a mom or dad?
Yeah, but I never met them. They left South Ashfield Heights right after I was born. But soon I'll get to see my mom.
Do you know where she is now?
Yeah, of course. Right where I was born. Lots of people tried to stop me, but it's fine now. It says in the scriptures that I'll be with her. I gotta hurry. Mom's waiting.
So, we have it right from the horse's mouth. That kid is indeed Walter Sullivan. Andrew wasn't having just a psychotic break, but we've got a kid named Walter Sullivan, but we've also got a guy who's highly likely to also be the adult Walter Sullivan. This world's just getting more and more surreal as we learn more about it. Some kind of suspicious-looking medallion. Take the medallion? Yes, the crested medallion. Medallion with a disturbing emblem carved into it. It's about 10 inches in diameter. Very helpful to know, thank you, Henry. But this is a key item that we need to get out of Forest World, so be sure to grab this. There's a couple other things to grab around here. Let me see, there's just a diary, we don't need to read that. Over here are some revolver bullets. The first, not the first pack, but the first pack we're able to pick up since the one we got in the hospital. Let's just load that into the gun to clear out an inventory space, and let's get the torch, light the holy candle here. On the screen with the twin victims, that is where the well was. I just kind of blew past it, though you probably saw it. I just didn't feel like it was worth mentioning. Now that we've got all that stuff, now we can just get out of here. As soon as you grab the crested medallion, or possibly even as soon as you see the Walter cutscene, this area just gets flooded with victim ghosts. But fortunately, the Saints medallion we have will just give us adequate protection against these guys. Just run around and let Eileen get to the door. One thing I do want to note about Eileen getting bumped by enemies, this doesn't hurt her, but it does...
I studied archaeology back in college, but
I think she's talking about the rocks, the rock formation that, you know, Jasper and the Nakihona, but she just kind of can say that anywhere in Forest World, but what was I going to say? When Eileen gets nudged, here's the right leg of the doll, that actually does interrupt her ability to transition through doors with Henry. So say the ghost bumped her as I opened the door, she actually would be abandoned in the room with the ghost and take some damage from that. Would be pretty unfortunate. But there is one kind of interesting quirk of that mechanic that can be exploited later in the game, and I'll be sure to cover that when we get to it. But it's a pretty fun little glitch that's very popular to use in 10-star runs of this game. But now we've gotten all the doll pieces, so let's slot this last piece in and see what happens. I'm sure it's going to be a super exciting, absolutely ridiculous cinematic cutscene. The production values on this one are insane. Watch this. Well, that was terrifying. Well, anyway, now that the wheelchair is out of the way, Henry couldn't have just pushed that out of the way. Maybe it was melted to the floor. We find this opening in the floor of the orphanage. Will you go down? Well, why wouldn't we? Inside this area, find a couple of things of note here. Looks like some kind of religious altar. I always feel like you should be able to examine this plaque on the wall, but it actually doesn't do anything. It's kind of strange, honestly. But on this altar here, there's a book here. Looks like some kind of Bible. The Descent of the Holy Mother, the 21 Sacraments. The first sign, and God said, at the time of fullness, cleanse the world with my rage. Gather forth the white oil, the black cup, and the blood of the 10 sinners. Prepare for the ritual of the Holy Assumption. The second sign, and God said, offer the blood of the 10 sinners and the white oil. Be then released from the bonds of the flesh, and gain the power of heaven. From the darkness and void bring forth gloom, and gird thyself with despair for the giver of wisdom. The third sign, and God said, return to the source through sin's temptation, under the watchful eye of the demon, wander alone in formless chaos. Only then will the 4 atonements be in alignment. The last sin, and God said, separate from the flesh too she who is the mother reborn, and he who is the receiver of wisdom. If this be done, by the mystery of the 21 sacraments, the mother shall be reborn, and the nation of sin shall be redeemed. Seems like another religious practice of the order. Their symbol very prominently plastered there. But we've been hearing mention of these sacraments. I wonder if this has any connection to Walter Sullivan. His diary also mentioned it. Could that be his plan? Well, I guess we have no way of knowing right now. Let's put this crested medallion into the depression, and once again, we find ourselves in the gloomy staircase. Looks like, the color palette's changed a little bit. Also feels like, I can see a little bit more clearly. Although, honestly, I'm not really sure if I want to. Whatever the case, it's the same deal as the previous stairwells that we've come across. We'll find a portal towards the center that, do I want to take it right now? Yeah, actually, you know what? Well, this is where we'll cut the video so I can get more of the next world into it. Besides, we'll probably see a haunting heading into the apartment now. I was considering starting the next area, but the next area is kind of weird in how the progression is, and it would be a little bit of time before I got a portal after a decent point and would still, like, not be halfway through completing the level. So let's just save the rest of it for the next video. Let's play the haunting roulette and see if we got a haunting. I'm really hoping for one of those ones where you just start taking damage as soon as you get out of bed. Do we got one? Doesn't seem like it. Also doesn't seem like anything of note in the bedroom, but heading out into the living room, again, the majority of the hauntings happen here, and it's uncommon that you return from, it's uncommon that you return from the world and something hasn't spawned in. So, sounds like you can probably hear the tap running, so this is the sink haunting. Let's just grab a holy candle to deal with this, and head over this way. So, looks like stream of blood. We can just place the candle in front of the sink, and that will start to resolve the issue there. I honestly would not recommend addressing hauntings with the Saint's Medallion. The hauntings burn through the Saint's Medallion super quick, so I would only use it as an absolute last resort. And at this point in the game, you get absolutely ridiculous numbers of holy candles, so you shouldn't ever really need the, the Saint's Medallions for hauntings, unless you're going for like a special speed run that's still getting the escape ending. Let's stow the revolver here. We don't need the torch anymore. We also don't need the pickaxe of despair. I can store this healing drink. And honestly, we don't need the chain either. What I do want to grab is I want to grab the Sword of Obedience. I also want to preemptively grab the handgun, and I actually want to grab two of the silver bullets. Let me see, is there anything else that I want to grab while I'm thinking of it? Let me just go back to others. No, actually, I think that's just about it. Yeah, so that's where we'll leave that. I will probably take the chain again after a certain point. There's one specific point I know where I'm going to want the chain again, but we'll save that for later. And doesn't look like we have any journal pieces awaiting us under the door, so we can just ignore that for now. And this is where we're going to end the video. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, though, goodbye.
Possible foreskin symbolism.